Well, the themes that we shape our investments around are first and foremost population growth worldwide, but more importantly the increasing wealth around the world, the emergence of a so-called global middle class. What that is doing is putting vastly increased demand upon resources, things such as food, energy, housing, transportation, all manner of different sort of building blocks of the infrastructure that modern society is based upon. All of those things have been supplied to the world via technology. You know, the Industrial Revolution was one example of that type of technology making a leap forward and improving quality of life for everybody around the world because of the productivity that it brought. As we move into the 21st century, we're going to see another iteration of that. And this new iteration is based upon technologies in material science, as well as leveraging innovation in information processing and software. And we'll see these things around renewable energy, around how we handle agriculture, how we raise livestock, how we manage transportation of all of these goods around the world. And our firm is focused on the technology companies that are bringing these sort of new things to market and starting to scale them up into the market. So we invest across renewable energy, energy efficiency, and some of these other sectors that I outlined. But the thing that we look for in the investments that we make are ease of market adoption by the customers. So it has to be a product that looks familiar to a customer, something that they may have handled before, but that our company is able to provide at drastically lower cost and higher volume. So we look for things where the customer finds it easy to evaluate the product. It might be electricity, it might be a gallon of fuel, it might be a unit of food, things that they can evaluate quickly, that they've seen before in the market, and that they can start to adopt with minimal change in their own behavior on their side. So when we find these things, we'll invest at the early stage, help the company grow. Many of our companies are US based, but by nature their markets are global, and so we spend a lot of time helping them grow into those other markets, and part of why we spend a lot of time in Asia is to facilitate that, because some of the biggest markets are right here. It's through our network. In some ways they find us, and in other ways we go and look in particular sectors where we see opportunity and try to find the best technologies that are out there that have the promise to make it to market. And so it's a mutual search from both sides. But through networking and through having relationships throughout the industry, we often find the types of things that we're looking for. Well, it's a very complex place to invest. One of the things with clean tech is that we're all going after a finite number of very big problems that we're trying to solve for society. Cleaner electricity, cleaner air, cleaner water, more abundant food, more transportation. All of these things are sort of known problems to go after. And because of that, the companies that are going after them are competing based upon their ability to scale into that market, their ability to deliver something cost effectively. And because of that, the winners in each of these spaces tend to take a disproportionately large amount of the gains to be had. So you might have many startups going after a given problem, but only 2 or 3 are going to be big winners for investors in that space. So on top of just the regular complexities of building a company and establishing a startup, you do have this sort of winner-take-all type of dynamic in the market. And then on top of that, there's a challenge with clean tech in that the markets are global. And so we have startup companies that are just trying to get on their feet, build their organization, prove their technology to customers and deliver, and yet they also have to be very cognizant and address a global market, not just a local one to start with. And then beyond that, the cost of capital for clean tech startups is pretty high because many of them are capital intense, and the available capital to go into this space, acknowledging the complexity and how you have to be very careful in picking a winner, is rather scarce. The specialists that are working in the space are the ones that are deploying it, but there's a limited amount. I enjoy it tremendously. I make it to Singapore probably about 4 times a year, and this conference is one of the ones that I do every year. I think I'd like to see it grow a little bit more and see more representation from other countries around Southeast Asia. But overall, I think the event is on a good trajectory, and it's been a very productive set of discussions for us in terms of the format of the conference.